This is the Leadership Lens with Tilamazua Piri.
Hi, and welcome to the Leadership Lens podcast, a podcast where we dive into the mindsets and decisions that make exceptional leaders of today. I'm your host, Tilamazua Piri, and this morning we have Mr. Muyangwa Muyangwa, who's the Director General for NAPSA, who's joining us on the podcast this morning. Mr. Muyangwa, welcome to the podcast, and thank you for joining us. So if you could just tell the viewers a bit about yourself before we dive into our questions.
Okay. So where do I start from? As far back as when I was born. I'm younger than Zambia by 1 year. I'm number 3 in a family of originally 12, but now only 9 are surviving.
Okay.
And you may have guessed from the fact that if you know the Lozi tradition, if you are named the family, if you are given the family name, it most likely means you are the firstborn son.
I didn't know that.
So in the lineage, I've got 2 elder sisters, but I'm the first son.
Okay.
So naturally, in the Lozi tradition, they'll give you the family name.
Family name.
You shouldn't be surprised if we are at a family gathering and there are 4 of us answering to that, because then it means there are 4 generations. My mom and dad were both teachers,
Okay.
so did a lot of my education started a bit early though, because they were teachers, so there's always the advantage of having your parents as teachers.
Yeah.
But did most of my school in Western Province.
Okay.
Toured quite a few schools. Started off at this primary school called Sianda Primary School, then went to a primary school called Namitome, and then went to another one called Mawawa, then went to one called Liangati. And then from there, I went St. John's Secondary School in Mongo. It was a Catholic school,
Okay.
where I did my secondary education. After St. John's, I went to the famous University of Zambia at Ndola. I think now it's called the CBU. But we're still part of the capital University of Zambia at Ndola.
Yeah.
But the transition happened actually while we were still at school. Then after that, went into what is called the industry. Joined Meridian Bank.
Okay.
Did a bit of private work for my big sister, Miss Namgala,
Okay.
Catherine Namgala, the former deputy speaker. Then joined Zambia Revenue Authority and went to the IMF, and now back in Zambia.
In Zambia. Awesome. Thank you for that. So let's get to our questions. Thinking back to your earliest memories, what did the young Muyangwa dream of becoming, and what do you think planted those initial seeds of ambition?
That's quite a tricky one, because I think much younger, I actually thought I was going to be a soldier.
Really?
Yeah, but my mom was very much opposed to that idea. You remember, I was growing up in Western Province at the time when there was the SWAPO Wars.
Okay.
That's the liberation of Namibia. So we used to experience a lot of army movements and the army sometimes going to protect our borders. I remember at one of the primary schools, we actually lived near the camp for SWAPO fighters.
Okay.
One particular moment, there was a raid, but I think those guys had very good intelligence. They had cleared the camp. So my mom, seeing that, I don't think she wanted to have anything to do with being a soldier.
Yeah.
But interesting as life would be, she was very, very worried when at St. John's Secondary School, they introduced the Zambia Combined Cadet Force.
Okay.
And I happened to have been the first person with a rank. So that seems to just make our fears grow stronger.
Yeah,
The natural transition will be going into the army.
Yeah, to the army.
But I think then that begins the leadership process.
Okay.
As a 14, 15-year-old, you are standing in front of a squadron, marching to a parade, giving instruction on parade. So you start learning how not to be a kid. And
So you develop leadership
skills at a young age.
Yes, so you sort of start taking on the responsibility and maybe learning how to navigate and manage it. But
Right.
yeah, so those were some of the issues. And of course, I had my uncle who always used to think something was going to come out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
He could see something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ade, thank you. Who were the key non-family figures, perhaps a teacher, a coach, or a community elder, who significantly shaped your character and perspective during your formative years? Or a mentor?
There's one apart from my parents who happen to be my teachers, but I can assure you, don't ever allow your parents to be your teachers. That can be quite rough. The expectations are always higher than for every other student. But I had one teacher in my grade 7 who just somehow, his name just doesn't go off my mind, Mr. Kakula.
Okay.
I think, I really don't know, but it seems to be one of those that really, first of all, he gave me a lot of confidence, and you start feeling he was looking at me in a different way. You remember, most of the time in my education, I was always the youngest in class.
Okay.
So there was always, because I started school early. Okay. Not too early. By modern standard, it would be okay. But by the time some of us were growing up, some people would be coming to school when they are 8,
7,
8 years.
Yeah.
But we started a bit younger. Okay. So that sort of, he always stays on my mind as one of those teachers that I think made me enjoy being in school.
In school. Okay.
And then, of course, I went to a mission school, a Catholic school. So there, what the focus on is how to behave.
Yes.
That, I think, was a very big plus. What the Christian brothers at St. John's, the kind of issues, the kind of leadership, behaviors, responsibilities that they were calculating in us, that I think has gone on to give us, to shape you in a particular way. And I think I also had a lecturer at CBU, Dr. Kalongas of Mumba, one of those. And of course, in my working career, that's where now you start seeing a lot of people that help you. I was a management trainee, so you go through a particular program where when at Meridian, that's when you come across senior executives then, like Mr. Charles Changwa. I think he had... we always have a very good laugh because our meeting and how we relate now is very different.
Very different.
Yes, but
have you ever seen any of your two, let's say, mentors since you left school later on in your years?
Yes, especially Mr. Changwa.
Okay.
I've had discussions with him. We meet, we talk. The others, one of them was at one of the expatriates. Commissioners at Zambia Revenue Authority. Okay. So David Child, who later on again we had a lot of interactions, and then one of my favorite bosses, Mr. Harrison Banda. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Harrison Banda, I think he gave us opportunities.
Okay.
Yes, to grow with his guidance, and him is around, and we still talk.
You still talk.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Okay, so what is the core value or principle instilled in you by your family that you still rely on and live by today?
Every human being is equal. Don't worry about the titles, don't worry about the money. Yeah. Treat everyone with respect, because when you strip off everything, we are all human beings.
Absolutely.
So at that point, we are just equal. So don't ever be swayed in your decision making by feeling
superior to others.
Dealing with a rich person, then you should treat them differently from how you treat an ordinary Zambian. So that's, my dad used to say, titles and money don't make human beings.
No.
It's who they are. So always have respect for another human being and treat them fairly and equally. After all, that's what you expect. Expect them to treat you fair and equal.
Of course.
Yeah. The others is just be a human being.
Have humanity for others.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
all about humanity.
Absolutely.
Whether you are just given an opportunity to sit in a particular position, don't forget that it's all about taking care of people.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it. Thank you. When you were studying business administration at Copperbelt University, was there a specific moment, course, or challenge that defined your approach to problem solving and leadership?
Yes, I think like most people would have come from regimented kind of secondary school. When you arrive at the university, I'm talking about the way at St. John's would do things. Everything was according to rules.
Okay.
There was time for everything, and it was structured. So you didn't have to do much thinking
Okay.
because everything was planned out for you. At this day, at this hour, you are here. At this hour, you are here. At this hour, you are asleep.
Okay.
So imagine arriving in a university and they tell you are now an adult and no one tells you
What to do? Yeah.
So there was a bit of confusion, I think, in being teenagers, and suddenly you are away from your parents, you are away from the Christian brothers that were teaching us all those, and suddenly we felt there was freedom. I think it almost messed up the education side. But then there is a time when you ask yourself a question, why am I here? And I'm glad that question came, and also the feeling that I was disappointing a lot of people, like my parents, who felt that maybe something would come out of me by going to school.
Okay.
And of course, don't forget, we are the free education people.
Right.
So maybe that's part of why we're a little bit relaxed. But then something clicked and said, well, so why would I spend so much time away from my parents? And I don't seem to understand why I'm here. Can I focus on why I'm here and then get the objective? So that's sort of thing around. And that's where Dr. Kalongas of Bumba comes in.
Okay.
Because at that time, he was my lecturer. And one time he called me and said, something has changed about you. What has changed? But actually what happened is I just became more serious and focused. So I think the issue is to always never lose sight of the objective and be focused.
Thank you. Okay. After graduating, you started your career in the private sector at Meridian Bank. What was the single biggest lesson you learned from that very first professional role that prepared you for everything that followed?
I think the Meridian Bank was special. The small Zambian bank run by Zambians. Among us that time, most of the big banks were foreign banks. Well, as still is now, but there was a character being formed about the bank that we're a Zambian bank, and we basically fear no one. So if Barclays, then Stanchart, Zanaco has always been there. If they're able to do certain things, and the feeling in Meridian was we can do better.
Okay.
And they focus so much on developing Zambian talent. So they hired quite a number of us as management trainees. And one of the key issues was there's no problem that is too big to be solved. So always just break it down in small pieces, figure it out, and then find the solution. Okay. So at Meridian, one thing they never used to want is to and say it cannot be done. Okay. I think you would get fired. There's a story of, Meridian was the first bank in Zambia to introduce a debit card.
I did not know that. Yeah.
First bank in Zambia to introduce a debit card was Meridian Bank. Before Barclays, before Stanchart, before Zanaco did. So there's a story that goes that they hired a consultant to come and help us introduce a debit card. And his first reaction in the inception meeting was, what makes you think a small bank like you can introduce that when Barclays, Stanchart, big banks, international, feel that the Zambian market is not ready? I think that was the last statement he made.
Okay.
They got rid of him. And the debit card was implemented.
Really?
Starting off with us staff, we were the first to have the cards. I remember there were some outlets that were piloting with the bank. One of them was Natwange at Woodland.
Okay.
So our salaries, first of all, were not paid. They were not paid to the account. So we could actually transact by going to these outlets, and that's how the debit card got introduced in Zambia. So in that spirit from Meridian Bank, where they say there's nothing impossible, and don't tell us it cannot be done.
Okay.
That sort of starts building your approach to how you address issues. And the most important thing then is most of the senior executives who happened to be Zambia were young. If I tell you that is in 1990, I'll mention a few names here. I hope they don't kill me. You look at them now, imagine them in the 90s, how old they would have been. But they were vice presidents. One of them is Mr. Valentine Staru.
Okay.
The other one is Mr. Bradford Manchila, the principal private secretary to the president.
Right.
Those were vice president at that time. So if you look at Mr. Manchila now and try to rewind to the 90s, but you were vice president, how old was he?
How old was he then?
But that's a belief that the Meridian wanted to build a cadre of Zambians that were professional and were able to manage, in the financial services sector especially, that were able to manage business.
And
Big kudos to Mr. Sudanis, who had the foresight of creating that bank. But it was more than a bank. It was what it was doing to generate professionals who are Zambians and young. I think we must have had the youngest, the Sipopiris, all those went through Meridian
Bank.
Shamanas, Clive. So
I was much younger, but my sister worked at Meridian Bank. We used to wear those really bright yellow and the blue. You could see them from like miles away.
Miles away. So maybe that's why most people came to bank. So we're visible.
You were very visible. Yes, that was a good strategy. Marketing strategy. Yeah, there was Rina.
Rina who?
Piri. Yes.
That was his sister.
Yes, that's my older sister.
yes, we worked together at head office.
Really?
Commercial.
Small world, Lusaka.
You see?
Yeah,
So
that's amazing.
I think Meridian did a lot, and it's not surprising that when you look at some people who are now people.
Yeah.
They are the Meridian touch. Mr. Justin Chola, all those are the Meridian background.
It was a good launch pad for a lot of the...
It was, because most people were young.
Yeah.
But that work ethic that Meridian was creating, and the way they were building leaders, it was quite interesting. At one stage, a lot of directors and assistant directors at the central bank were actually ex-Meridian.
Really?
Yes. Robert Bandas, the Moses Chaturikas, Chisha Manakatwes, all those came from...
It was a powerhouse.
It was, and it's really sad that it went under, but
yeah.
But we are thankful to the Sadanis family and
to have had that experience.
They then created something that has gone to live beyond the bank.
Beyond the bank.
Yes.
Wonderful. So before achieving the success you have today, was there ever a significant setback or failure that in hindsight became the crucial turning point or most valuable teacher in your journey?
I think it's what happened at university, where I think I lost focus.
Okay.
And then one day I had to sit up and say, what's going on here? And from that turning point, it was always understand what you want to do, focus on that and get it done, and track your progress along.
Right.
If you find that it's not working, most likely look inward and say, where am I not getting things done correctly? And then figure out how to change course and still get to the objective. But I think that was a very big wake-up call for me.
Okay.
And I think a very big turning point, because things could have gone definitely very south or left.
Yeah.
But just that then created an issue of saying, remember what happened, don't ever allow that to happen.
Yes.
Focus on getting things going. Okay. So I think that has been something that drove me. And then I was one of those people that did not actually walk out of university straight and into a job.
Okay.
Even though at that time it was very, very common that there were so many jobs, but somehow I think in my group of friends, I must have been the last one that got employed.
Okay.
But then he taught me something. Since you know what it is like not to have a job, when you have that job, make sure you don't lose it.
Yes. Yeah.
Lose it for something else, but not because you are not paying attention to it.
Right.
That really, you value an opportunity. So when Meridian Bank employed me, to me it was like they've saved me. It's an opportunity. I need to plug everything
Into it. Yeah.
and to reward them more, just to make sure that I don't slacken in what they expect from me.
Right.
Yeah, so that I think was a very big turning point.
Okay. Moving to Washington, D.C. and working with the IMF is a major life change. How did immersing yourself in a completely new culture and environment personally change your view of the world and your own personal capabilities?
I think it was an opportunity that was not planned because I didn't apply. It just happened that there was a team of IMF staff that had come to Zambia. That time I was working for Zambia Revenue Authority.
Okay.
And there are a few of us who deceive ourselves that we might be experts at VAT. So we had an engagement with one of the team members from the fund who had a different position on what needed to happen to the value-added tax in Zambia. And I felt that he may have missed one principle of VAT, so we had a slight interaction. But whatever that did, it sort of opened up a chance for me. So what then happened was I was asked if I could go to Namibia.
Okay.
With a team of that time I was still an employee of ZRA, with a team of experts from IMF to go and look at their VAT. And I did for 2 weeks. I came back. Then they asked if I could go to the Gambia to go again look at the VAT. What I didn't know is I was actually being interviewed. After the Gambia, I received an offer that would you want to actually join the fund? Okay. And that's how in 2011 I joined the fund. But then that opened a very different sphere in terms of seeing what is happening outside Zambia.
Right.
And understanding or maybe learning lessons of what other countries have done to get out of their problems and forge a very different path from maybe where they were headed. Seriousness or lack of it thereof in some other jurisdictions. So our job was mainly to help build institutions, especially from revenue mobilization side.
Okay.
So you got to understand difficulties in some countries, but also you begin to appreciate that actually Zambia is a bit ahead.
Yeah.
And you can imagine in Africa there's this unsaid ranking of states. The giant states feel that those of us who come from small states know nothing. Yeah. So you can imagine sitting in front of a few Nigerians and trying to explain to them how taxes are supposed to. They say, "Where do you come from?" Zambia. What's that? Yeah. But I think later on they realized there were quite a number of us, not just from Zambia but from other African countries. That then they realized we could actually share ideas and experiences, which are more continent grown than having solutions that may be out of context when you put it in the African setting. Okay. So we felt it's much easier for a Kenyan and a Zambian maybe to have a discussion on how to address the informal sector from a tax perspective with a Nigerian than it might be from a guy who comes from Europe. Okay. So we started forging those relationships, but also we're gaining experience from the other guys from the other continents who are now telling us why they do certain things and how they do them. Yeah. So you start developing a wider window of perspective on most issues, and it was quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. So you did enjoy your time there.
Yes, but at one stage you sit down and say, okay, so You're not allowed to work in your home country, by the way.
Okay.
So then you are reading reports on what is going on in the country. You have access to these reports from an economy perspective.
Okay.
And then you are shipped, you travel to another country and you help them solve the problem that are similar to what is happening in Zambia. But you cannot come to Zambia.
Yeah.
So at one stage you start feeling, well, maybe we also need to pay back to Zambia, especially a lot of us who did free education.
Yeah.
I think it dawns on you when you sit in a meeting and you hear the negative light in which your home country is shared by the people who are discussing your country. And that really wakes you up and say, well, if this is what they think of my country, what do they think of me as a citizen of that country?
Yeah.
So you start feeling we can do better. Zambians are known to be... So we only underrate ourselves, but the other people believe that Zambians have some caliber that maybe most African countries do not have.
Yeah.
Although when we are here amongst ourselves, we actually believe we know nothing. That's not actually true. There's a lot that's good in terms of caliber of human capital in this country that we don't realize. So at that point, then you start feeling, maybe we need to give back.
Okay. That's when you made the decision to come back.
Actually, I didn't make a decision. It so happened that you've two issues met. You are feeling, I need to go back home. This life is not my life. I think maybe let me backtrack a bit.
Okay.
Most people feel that living in this country, like the US, it's heaven on earth.
Right.
No, it's actually tougher than they think. The cost of living is high. People think everyone gets a lot of money there. Yes, everyone struggles like we struggle here.
Yeah.
But for me, the cost of living side was what was now weighing in. You say, look, if I'm in Zambia, I will not need to spend the amount of money I'm spending, even if I don't earn it.
Yeah.
But I don't need to spend so much just to eat.
Right.
We can grow that on a small field somewhere. Its food is cheaper, it's of better quality. So you start thinking...
Looking at the pros.
So what is this decision about? Is it about money? The money is not coming.
Yeah.
Is it about... What is it really? So when you go through that process and then you are looking at... Eventually, I'll be out of a job and I'll retire. So I go back home and then what?
Yeah.
What do I learn?
Where do I start from?
Where do I start from? You realize that from a personal perspective, you feel there has been a slowdown in pace from the time you left the country. Yes, the experience is good, but from a personal development and preparation for retirement perspective, you start feeling, no, I think I'm losing out. And I need to put that in perspective. One thing you would notice is most of the Africans that are these institutions tend to be younger than the other counterparts. So what happens is most of the other side, they would have retired and they already have pensions and now they are getting a second pension. Because you are younger, you haven't retired yet. You are still talking about the first pension. Yeah. So you are not actually existing at the same level. And they are more better prepared for retirement than you are.
Okay.
So then you start saying you can't manage investment remotely. You have to be back home and see what is happening. So maybe it's a stage in life combined with a feeling, okay, at this stage, then when I compare to my colleagues back home, they seem to be making progress. And then you say, well, maybe enough of what I've gained here. We can kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Go and share a little bit of the experience of what you've gained and also take care of your own preparation for when you are no longer employable age. Yes.
Okay. Achieving executive leadership over 30 years requires immense focus and sacrifice. What is the single biggest personal sacrifice, a relationship, a hobby, or a missed opportunity that you look back and think, I wish I could have handled this differently?
I think one thing it teaches you is your time is no longer yours.
Yeah.
So you have to make a choice. Something has to give, and I can assure you, the more you acquire responsibility, the less time your family begins to feel the difference.
Yes.
You are less and less at home, and more away from dealing with work issues. And that's something that you really have to positively manage and try to balance. The work-life balance issues that people talk about are real. When I was working for the fund, my job required a lot of traveling. That most of the time you'll be away from home, even wondering why you are paying rent.
Yeah.
That then takes away from family. So the little time that you have with family sometimes is to maximize. But I think the key issue is you definitely go through that process of your responsibilities at work beginning to take a lot of your time. But if you have to be successful, if I may put it that way,
Yeah.
then depending on the challenge placed in front of you, you have to make those decisions, and cautiously so, but also find a way of going back to the family and say, when you have an opportunity, just hang around.
Of course.
But one thing that we learned early is sometimes we spend a lot of time focusing on how you go up in an institution. We forget that the only thing that speaks for you are the results.
Yes.
It's not, connections. I think sometimes they are over-exaggerated. Even if you have the connections, but you don't deliver on what people expect, I'm sure even the connections you have will start feeling let down.
They can get you in the door, but you have to be the one to prove yourself.
Sometimes, or most of the time, what I think works is be focus on trying to get the deliverables done.
Right.
And then the rest to happen on its own. It's a natural progression.
Okay.
It's not something that you have to go and see a voodoo guy to assist. It's just
looking for the easy way out.
Yeah. Normally, it's very easy when you look for the easy way out because the foundation is weak.
Right.
You'll get exposed, and exposed in a negative way. But if the foundation is solid, you can subsist or you can survive certain challenges because I think your foundations are solid enough to help you navigate the challenges as they come.
Okay.
But also it's understanding that you were given opportunity by others.
Yes.
You also have to create opportunities for
others.
Yes. It's not about you.
No.
It's actually the fact that other people gave you an opportunity. That's the only way you were able to go up.
Yes.
So as you
That's
go up,
something people forget when they get up there.
yeah, because people think they are smarter than everyone else. There's no one who is smarter than everyone else.
No.
So just always remember that if no one had given you an opportunity, you would not have gone anywhere.
Of course.
So your job therefore is also to look back and say, how do we create opportunity?
Yes, and help other
people. And there's a lot of gratification, I think, in seeing people that you identified do well.
Right.
You feel, I think I must have gotten something right. And I think the other issue also is from a leadership perspective. Sometimes we make a mistake of thinking leadership is something you find a way of manipulating to get there.
Yeah.
It's supposed to happen organically as we interact with your friends or with your groups of peers. When it's time for things to happen, if people gravitate towards you and say, we think you should take up this, then you have acquired it the correct way. Not where you leave everyone blooded. No, It's where your own colleagues say, I think for this task, this is the right person.
Right.
It's more organic in that way, and therefore it's because remember you cannot lead those who don't want to be led. So if you are leading, just know that there are people who believe that they want to come with you.
Yes.
But it's also not an issue of saying it's either me or the highway. It's
Right.
an issue of saying, okay, this is a collective effort. Where do we want to go? We're heading this way.
How do we rise
How do we
together?
rise together? And that's a very key issue. How do we rise together? In that rising together, then it says, who am I? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What do I see in Tila that complements what I don't have?
Right.
Then now you have a more formidable
Team.
and then the progress towards objectives is much easier. Well, there's no one who is everything.
No.
But I think one of the key weaknesses we see maybe in people that say leadership is they don't understand their strengths, they don't understand their weaknesses.
Right.
You cannot expect others to do certain things when you don't even know yourself. You have to understand yourself and say, I know I'm good at this. This I don't even try it. I'm so bad at this. I need someone who is good at this.
Yeah.
Then when you put together the whole strengths, weaknesses here, you complement each other, you cancel each other out. That way, then you start making progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So looking ahead, what personal contribution outside of your official job titles do you feel most passionate about making to your community or the next generation?
I think if it's, I like what the president always says, that the villager from Bwembwa. There's a lot of talent and potential in some people, but it's not, our environment sometimes make us believe we can't be. So I would rather focus more on the people that don't have many opportunities.
Okay.
And tell them that you can be, than defeating themselves because I live in a high density area, therefore I can't be anything. It's where you are today does not define where you'll be, or does not define your potential. The circumstance you are in today is just a circumstance you are in today. There's more to you than just the environment or the circumstance you are in. So if I don't know how to channel that to make people believe that it's not only the Lusaka people that get to be successful. Even the Kaputa people, the Shangombo people, there's a Zambian out there who has the potential to be something. All that we need is then, can we create a framework that helps to identify or give these opportunities
Right.
to these Zambians, and also don't let them get defeated by the environment in which they subsist or they live. It's I don't know how to channel that, but if there's one thing that I would want to make a contribution is that part where you uplift a lot of people not based on the economic circumstance, but because God gave them a skill and a talent that needs to be harnessed to the betterment of the country.
Okay.
The other issues really outside is just how to be a better member of society, make a contribution. There's too much to be done, but focus on one area and see how you can assist to get that going.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I think there's more gratification in that feeling than actually people talk about money. I think the happiest people are not necessarily the richest people. It's people who feel they have made a contribution
Towards
someone else's life. They've made a change. They've helped solve a problem. I think that's more. I think that's what every human being aspires to be. I don't think they deliberately wake up and say, "I want to be the richest man in the world." No, but I think they want to say, "I want to be that guy who made an impact on many people's lives." That I think it's a
I think
human.
the definition of rich is what you give back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think in marriage does not really define happiness
Yeah.
in a person, but there's that gratification that comes out of doing something.
Right.
It's what they say, that every time a human being does something good, helps another human being, the feeling they get afterwards.
Yes.
I think that's the inner thing of a human spirit,
Right.
that we always want to assist others. So when that is what gives you ultimate happiness. So we all have just to find what is it that I can contribute, and then
In whatever little way that you can,
that's it.
makes a difference.
That's it. It makes a difference. If one person can walk away feeling, I'm glad I met that person.
Yeah.
I think that you can sleep happy.
Okay. One question I always ask my guests is, with such a rich history, is a book in the pipelines? A personal bio?
I think the best people to write your personal bio are the people. There's always something that's not really a book. I don't know. There's something I've been feeling. Maybe I need to put those ideas to paper. But
I just think such rich stories are what the younger or upcoming generation need to have access to.
yeah, it's actually something I look at, the way sometimes we look at the world, and then what the real story is actually different from what we think we are seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost satirical in the way I frame it, that tell people the truth, but you know that most people won't believe.
Yeah.
Say, but is it actually true? And
Yeah.
most of it is about the way us Africans are perceived by non-Africans, and why we are almost convincing ourselves that we are what they think, when in actual fact we are, there's something much better. So just to best some of these myths and say, if you're an African, then there's nothing that can come out of that.
Yeah.
Or certain countries are better than other countries in whatever it is. When you decode it, you may come up and say, no, actually I'm happier in my dusty Lusaka than in a paved New York.
Somewhere out there, all the greenery.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's and also some, when you start looking at some of the things that happen in the world, how people tell before you realize they actually convince you that what they are doing is this, but when in actual fact what they are aiming at is different. Let's talk about, for example, propaganda or brainwashing. You need to live in certain countries to realize how brainwashed they are. But it's working to their advantage because it has made them believe so much in themselves.
Okay.
So once they have that belief that we are the people, there's nothing they can fail to do.
Yeah.
Now, the opposite is to make you feel you are not the people. What does that do? If believing that we are the people has helped people go to a certain level, making certain people believe that you are not the people, then also suppresses their ability to transform or to grow. So it's some of those issues where sometimes things are on a borderline. You feel people come and tell you that you need to give out more information. And then you find that in certain environments, the information that goes out is very controlled. It's not, people are fed. They are not seeking.
Right.
They are basically, if I may, manipulated. Then you start feeling, okay, but this is not the perception that people have.
Yeah.
But my understanding of what is happening here is X. But why is it that everyone is clamoring to say this is the best thing? And then you start feeling people are not getting the real truth here. Can people find their own information and sit back and analyze and say, actually, that's not true? So I look at
that would change their thinking as well.
I look at two scenarios of one guy always accusing the other that you manipulate your people, you control your people.
Yeah.
They actually are not different. We just need to sit in the environment and watch the environment unfold, and then we realize it's the same.
It's the same thing.
It's the same. It's just that you need to find a villain, and the other guy
Yes,
needs to look
yes.
like the good guy.
The good
But
guy.
otherwise, but for Africa, really, for me, the final conclusion for Africa is we shouldn't believe the narrative that people say about us. We should believe our own narrative. And why do we want to believe the narrative that is given to us by others? It's because we have linked our well-being to the other people.
To others.
We need to delink it. We have seen that everyone who has made progress in the last 50 years delinked people's perception, delinked from what other people perceive them to be, and they were able to make progress.
Okay.
So even for us, it's just to wake up one day and say, the sad thing for us is it's not even one day. You go on a WhatsApp group now and you listen to people my generation discussing what is not going right about the continent. You would think we are the founders of that thinking. Till you go and read Nkrumah 66 years ago,
Yeah.
then you realize he said it then.
That time.
So the question is, why are we still discussing that?
The same thing.
So that inertia of expecting other people to come and solve our problems is what is killing us. So linking it to what I believe in is whenever you have an opportunity to address an issue, address it.
Right.
Don't wait that you need to bring
Someone else
or a different skin color or anything like that to help you. Just address it.
Okay.
In your own way.
Okay. And lastly, do you have any words for our viewers? Maybe any skeletons in the closet that you would like to announce on the podcast today?
There are not enough. There are not enough closets. No, I think just to encourage every Zambian. Sometimes as Zambians we have a negative issue of beating ourselves too hard. That we almost convince ourselves that we cannot do anything on our own. We can. And you almost every time you hear people saying, no, Zambians are financially literate, Zambians are this, Zambians are that. But the real issue is when you look within the Zambians, you start seeing these Zambians who have done things. Then you ask yourself, but if Zambians are like this, how come that one did this? Yeah. So let's just, for the young ones, just be focused. Know what you want to do. Be good at what you've decided to be good at. Don't look left, right to say, I want to be like that or this. No, choose your own path. Go for it. At the end of the day, like I said, happiness is not about how well my neighbor is living, but it's how happy I am with my environment and circumstance. So for the young Zambians, we have a lot of hope in you. I think maybe my generation is one of the lost ones in terms of, I don't know what to tell the other generation what we did for this country. The counter generation fought for independence. Those of us who were born during that era, what will we be pointing at? Yeah. So the generation that are coming after us, I think they should avoid the abyss that our generation sort of went into, and just blossom to the full, and show the people that there's a reason we sit in this. I don't know how many square kilometers Zambia is now, and this is where we are. Why are we deciding that we would rather be elsewhere? We are here. Let's make it happen just here. I think that is just a message that I would say. It's only us who can develop our own country. It's only us who can change our own circumstances. There's a reason God put us in this country that we later named to be Zambia.
Mr. Muyangwa, thank you so much for making the time and coming on the podcast. It's been very informative.
Thank you, Tila.
Thank you so much, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the festive season.
It's happening again.
Well, there you have it. We have come to the end of this episode of the Leadership Lens podcast. We had Mr. Muyangwa, the Director General for NAPSA, who joined us this morning. I've been your host, Tila Piri, And remember that leadership isn't about being in charge, it's about making a change and making things better. We'll see you on the next episode of the Leadership Lens, powered by GrowthX Media. Thank you and goodbye.